Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Bone Podcast, where we discuss all things crypto markets. That includes the majors like Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, meme coins, and of course, NFTs. Today, we're going to discuss China entering the stablecoin game and what this means for crypto at large. We're going to talk about Robinhood's new token listing and NFL prediction markets incoming, and how we are trading the crypto volatility ahead of Powell's speech on Friday. Good morning. Good morning. I'm joined today by Easy and Kicks. If you're listening on Spaces, give us a like, give us a bookmark, give us a retweet, give us a comment. Let us know what you want to talk about today. If you're listening on Twitter, if you're listening on YouTube, give us a comment. Apologies today if you can't understand me, if I'm sounding a little nasally. Working on a little bit of a cold over here. The joys of being a dad and having germs constantly flowing throughout our house. Speaking of dads, Kicks, how you feeling today? It's been about a week. How's the market treating you? What's your mindset? Oh, you're muted.
What a fucking idiot.
Family get muted. Yeah. Anyways, I was telling you before the show. Take zinc if you feel like you're getting sick. It's a cheat code. Also, I feel like nicotine just kills viruses. I don't know if there's any science to back that. In terms of the market and how it's doing pretty good, man. I actually sold enough stuff in early to mid August that I'm able to stomach these blows and not feel too bad. I mean, it of course it sucks. I'm a long only guy, right? So like when the market goes down, I'm never happy because it's not like I'm short. I'm not like a keyboard monkey who's great at shorting markets. I'm sure Easy's great at that as well. It's just, I don't know. It's just something I'm not awesome at, even though I can feel things getting frothy. I prefer just to let things pull back and then look for new long opportunities. But if I've balanced myself out where I've sold enough and I have enough cash, at least it going down doesn't really make me feel like shit. Like if I hadn't sold my Pudgy, if I hadn't sold a couple Moonbirds, my V1 Punk, I'd probably be feeling a lot shittier right now. But feeling fine. Also, it's like I longed ETH a couple of months ago at like 1,600. This is why I think your entries into things are so important, right? Because I longed it down at 1,600. It went to 4,800. That's a 3x. Now it's down to 4,000, which is like a 2.5x. It's like, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like now if I bought it at 3,800 and it goes down to 4,000, now I've almost round tripped all my gains. I'm feeling a little anxious. So, and also I could be completely wrong, but I don't feel like that did not feel like a top at all.
It's not the top
form, you know? Yeah.
It's not the top. I mean, you can just run back and look at rate cut cycles from 2019, which is probably the closest one that we had comparatively for 3 cuts, no QE. We dropped 15% following the cuts once they concluded, and then rallied about 35%, which would shape us up for into Q4 and then a run to just before start of Q2 next year, which seems fair.
Yeah.
I think that's
I like that, Easy, because like one of the things I was thinking is that I don't know. I feel like once TradFi gets involved, they kind of want to trap you, right? And like the whole 4-year cycle.
We won't see these 80% drops anymore, dude. We won't see them anymore. Like you're not going to see these. Like, dude, Bitcoin went from 6.9K to 69K. You know what I mean? During COVID, and then following that in the 24, we had 16K to where we are now. So like, I don't think we get those massive gnarly sell-offs again, just because like TradFi doesn't want to lose that bad, but they'd like to get a better entry than we have. So like, I think we trade closer to the S&P where you have 10, 15, 18% drawdowns and then grind back up forever.
The only concern I really like felt over like the past week or two, mostly the last week, was in regards to MicroStrategy. Because I was actually trading some MicroStrategy prediction markets on PolyMarket, like mostly around like how much Bitcoin they were going to acquire in a given week. And so because of that, I started like looking deeper into how MicroStrategy's been buying And what was wild to me is that in the month of August, MicroStrategy buys were basically down 98% from their average for like the past year. You can see it right there in that chart. So it just had me like wondering how much of what's propping up Bitcoin has been the MicroStrategy buys. And just for some context for the listeners, basically about a month ago, Michael Saylor came out, and I think this was just due to some skittishness around MSTR, which is their stock. He basically laid out a plan where he said, if the MNAV is below 2, PO said 2.5, but it's either 2 or 2.5, they're not going to like actively buy more Bitcoins, right? And then if MNAV goes above 2, then they'll like sell some MSTR shares on the market, buy some more Bitcoin, right? Made that announcement about a month ago, and they've been under MNAV 2, so they haven't been buying. And so then you look here, you see 811 and 818, they bought 150 coins and 430 coins, versus in July they bought 32,000 or something like that, like a massive difference. In the 430 buy and the 155 buy came from their other products, you know, like their STRK and their STRD, those other products, right? It wasn't MSTRs buying them. And so I'm like, that's a little scary, right? And then I want to say on Monday, Saylor comes out and basically changes what he said a month ago. And he's like, if the MNAV goes below 1, now we're going to take on debt and buy our stock back. And also, even if MNAV is below 2, we still may buy Bitcoin if we think it's a good deal. And that was just really odd for me, like just that, like a month ago saying we're not going to buy Bitcoin if it's below MNAV's below 2, and then they come back and they're just, or below 2.5, and then they come back and they're like, they added this AM3 when otherwise deemed advantageous to the company, right? He's like, okay, a month ago, he's like, we're not going to buy if MNAV's below 2. And then 2 days ago, he's like, maybe we will. And just for a big company like that to have such a shift is just like a little concerning to me, and just made me start to think, like, once again, how much of the Bitcoin price has been propped up by their buys. There has been some people out there talking about crypto treasury companies being the bubble that will pop crypto eventually. I lean more towards where like Easy's at. Just on my thoughts has been that the cycle would maybe go a little bit longer into next year. But I mean, it's definitely something for people to keep on their radar. And I do think that's why we've seen weakness in Bitcoin.
I mean, I think we've seen weakness in Bitcoin purely because you look at the market and it's been up only in a summer session that's historically choppy. Like, dude, ETH just went from high 2s to mid 4s. Like, you don't get those moves without some level of a pullback. The other thing is these alts are holding up much better. Like, someone asked me today, like, would you buy Bitcoin here? And my honest answer is I'd rather buy alts. I think alts are shaping up. The other thing that if you look at the Bitcoin dominance chart in 2019 when rate cuts happened, Bitcoin dominance fell off a cliff and alts rallied very hard. You ended up getting, obviously, the COVID crash, which is like an outlier. But before that, alts were running well. It was from July to October of 2019. And then you actually had rate cuts in 2024, which a lot of people overlook as well, where we did 3 cuts as well. And that was October to December of 24. So when you look through both of those, the 20 to 24 Bitcoin dominance rallied, but actually chopped, and alts rallied much harder. Same with 2019. Rate cuts typically set up for altcoin season to run a little bit stronger. The most interesting thing that you have to be cognizant of is the fact that we are in a TradFi capital market now. It's a much different scenario than where we were when it comes to past cycles, which is why everyone's like, is the 4-year cycle gone forever? No, I just think we trade closer to the equity cycle.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see that. And people are asking real quick in the chats what MNAV is, and I just wanted to explain real quick. It's basically like the premium of the stock relative to the Bitcoin that they hold, right? So like if the stock is worth way more than the Bitcoin that they hold, then they'll sell some of the stock to buy more Bitcoin. That's my understanding, at least. Like explain like F5. But also, Easy, you said that, you know, Bitcoin's been pumping hard in the summer. I agree with that. But think about the fact that like in July alone, MicroStrategy bought $4 billion of it. So it's going to pump when someone's buying $4 billion of it.
The bigger thing is to look at how much ETH inflow there is. They bought 5% of the circulating ETH supply.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's the MicroStrategy 2.0. They're the Bored Apes, and Strategy is the CryptoPunks. But regardless, I'm just saying that I don't know. It could just be correlation, causation. I just think it's interesting that it's like, okay, we did super well all summer, and for the most part of this year, when MicroStrategy's buying 20,000 Bitcoin a month, and then we get into August and they buy 500, and shit starts getting a little shaky.
One more thing I want to call here too on the Bitcoin side is we've seen net outflows this month from Bitcoin ETFs, 656 million in net outflows coming out of the Bitcoin ETFs. And with Bitcoin leading the way, that's concerning. Ethereum ETFs have seen 2.4 billion of inflows on the back of, you know, basically the Treasury hype at this point. But Bitcoin seeing outflows over almost, you know, 3/4 of a month here is a bit concerning. I think August, though, like we kind of came into this month expecting August to be like a down month. And I think we were like pleasantly surprised by like how well it went early in the month. Like I don't think anyone was thinking we were going to be rallying this hard this early in August. Easy was like a bull in August, but like I think even Easy was surprised. He was like end of month is when we're going to be approaching like new all-time highs. So this could just be like a general cool off, I'm thinking, before the next leg up.
Yeah,
that being said,
I subscribe to that too.
Yeah,
like everything ran hot. It has to get, you know, there has to be a pullback regardless. Just the MicroStrategy stuff was interesting to me after doing some research. I'm like,
that being said, why don't we kick off a little weather report action? Get into more of the meat and potatoes of the show after we cover the news.
Sounds good. I got it pulled up, man. Let's get after it. Ladies and gentlemen, today is Wednesday, August 20th. The majors continued their decline yesterday, but bounced early this morning with Bitcoin just over 113K, Ethereum just below 4,200, Solana hanging out around 180, and Hype at $42. Over the past 24 hours, news broke that China is considering a Yuan-backed stablecoin for the first time. They will review and potentially approve a roadmap later this month as they want to move fast to combat US dollar dominance in the stablecoin markets. One potential issue may be who wants to hold Yuan. I'm not sure. Maybe there are some people out there. Next up, Anthony Scaramucci's Skybridge Capital announced a real-world asset tokenization program on Avalanche. Initially, they'll be tokenizing $300 million across 2 of their funds and holding assets such as tokenized Treasury bills. Once you hear Anthony Scaramucci's name, you know you are within 8 months of the top for crypto. Finally, we had a pair of big announcements coming from Robinhood yesterday. They listed the SUI token, the SUI. They're very happy and announced an integration with Kalshi to provide NFL prediction markets. If you don't like to gamble, maybe look at predicting the NFL instead. SUI is sitting at $3.50. Robinhood is down 6% in pre-market trading to $107. That's it for the weather report. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Penny Stock Money, for donating $10 to tell us we were wrong.
I might have misspoke. I apologize if I did. I'm saying it's cooled off over the last week. I mean, you can't say that it hasn't cooled off. Just a fact. But thank you. Appreciate it. So we have Gamblers Anonymous. Is there going to be Prediction Market Addicts Anonymous next? Is there going to be a name for Prediction Market Addicts? Is it going to be different?
Yeah, like maybe you have to go to like a fortune teller runs that one. You know what I mean? Like, you are not so good at predicting. Your predictions are not so good. Inverse yourself. You are a loser. You become winner by fading yourself.
We saw this this Yuan backed stablecoin news come out. China becoming a little more warm to crypto markets is interesting. There's a lot of money in Asia that can be invested into crypto. If they are going to be pushing for adoption, especially with stablecoins, it's going to be very interesting to see how this affects crypto at large.
I mean, call me crazy, man. I'd rather own a Singaporean dollar stablecoin, if you know what I'm saying, easy, as opposed to a Chinese yuan.
If I could yield farm as an SGD, it's all I would do. I would just straight yield farm SGDs
all day. Strongest currency on the planet Earth.
Yep, I think owning the stablecoin and like the stablecoin itself isn't as much of a deal as like them becoming more open to crypto in general and opening markets would be my thought process on this news. That's like the takeaway, in my opinion.
Fair.
Are you gonna be predicting the NFL on Robinhood, Kicks?
I see. You got in life, you got to know what you're good at and what you're not. I am definitely not good at sports betting or fantasy. Actually, fantasy, depending on the sport, like golf, I'm halfway decent. Football, not phenomenal at. I did take a little bit of money. See, here's the cool thing about prediction markets, right? Is when it comes to futures, right? So, for example, like who will win the Super Bowl? Because if you buy a ticket with a sports book and you try to sell it, they always hose you on the sell, right? But if you like someone and you think that they're maybe not even going to win the Super Bowl, but they're just going to play way better than the market thinks, this thing's liquid all year, right? So you can sell in and out of it. So I put some money down on the Washington Redskins. They're at 4%, right? Last year, did they go to the championship?
No.
How far did they go?
Let me see.
The NFC championship is what I mean, not the Super Bowl.
I don't think so, but maybe I could be completely wrong. It was a Niners-Lions in the NFC championship game.
Okay. Yeah. So they made it 2 games in. Maybe were they a wild card? They won 1 or 2 games. Anyways, point being,
yes, Washington Commanders beat the Lions.
You just said they were. You said they were in the championship, the Lions.
I don't know. I'm getting conflicted reports here based on my 2 Googles.
Okay. How far did the Redskins go last year? They're not the Commanders, everybody. They're the Redskins. Okay. Yeah, getting nothing. Cool. Yeah, Google, you're fucked. Just a heads up. Anyways, Washington beat the Lions and then lost to the Eagles. Yeah, the NFC Championship was the Eagles and the Commanders. Okay, thank you. Okay, they were in the NFC Championship last year. They almost made it to the Super Bowl. And I'm seeing them at 4%. So I'm like, hey, I'll buy some of this at 4%. And if they have a really strong season, they could go up to 8%. I can sell it. I don't even have to, hold it all the way through. So that's one of the cool things about prediction markets is as long as there's liquidity, you can trade in and out of these things, all day. But once again, taking a step back and framing it, I am not a sharp when it comes to sports, right? So I do not think that you're not going to hear about me, predicting heavily on any of this stuff.
One thing I was looking at was single game like odds, essentially, like to get volume. Like looking for games like even baseball with volume, like taking both Toronto at 61 cents and Pitt at 40 cents here. So essentially
losing a penny.
Even. Well, I'd be making a penny, right? Or yeah, losing a penny in the scenario. But sometimes they line up where like you might not be losing a penny.
No. There's bots that arbitrage that almost immediately.
Okay. Or like
it exists. Arbitrage almost immediately.
Yeah, having offers that like essentially make you break even, because without fees, like you could potentially like set a decent amount of volume. I don't know if they're like looking for like that sort of like wash trading if you're doing different sides of the same market. But I thought about that yesterday as like a way of potentially getting like volume on the platform.
Yeah, you can market make all day. So it's a 1 cent spread. So you are right. There's a 1 cent spread right now, right? So if that spread doesn't move and you're getting fills on both sides of the market, you're making a risk-free 1%. So you are 100% right about that. I thought you meant just market buying both of them.
Yeah.
But yes, if you have bids on both sides of the book, there's always going to be a spread. Sometimes it's more than 1 cent. Another thing you can look at is you can look at Kalshi and you can look at PolyMarket. For example, at one point in time, I saw on PolyMarket, I think the Baltimore Ravens were at 10%, and on Kalshi they were 13. And I do know on Kalshi there's maybe like a 1% taker fee, but there's little bits of spreads like that. If you want to make them pennies.
Yeah, I mean, I'm less concerned about making the penny as opposed to getting volume for a potential airdrop. Would be my case for this. I'm not trying to just do some like complicated yield farming strategy on PolyMarket to make small percentages. I'm not doing
you're
that
caring more about getting your volume up.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I think that's smart. I think that if you put yourself in PolyMarket shoes, how you would do an airdrop is like some of it would be based around volume, right? Some of it would maybe be based around how many markets a person has traded. And then probably there'll be some weighting of like, does this person hold shares for an extended period of time and or hold shares into resolution, right? It'd be some sort of like weighting mix like that. Meaning like market makers are going to have the most volume. They're not going to weight all of the tokens to those people, right? And so how they'll like weight some tokens away from those people will be by saying like, hey, okay, this person holds their bets to resolution. So they're definitely like a normal, real person, right? Or this person, traded a bunch of markets, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I think PolyMarket potentially could have an airdrop. It'd be super cool if they did some sort of hyper liquid pump fun-esque buyback, put some fees on the platform, do some sort of token buyback.
Yeah, very interesting. They were talking about, well, they just like reverse merged to get into US markets, right? To become eligible to trade.
Yep.
Is that a PolyMarket?
It is right there. I'm long on it.
There it is. Will PolyMarket US go live in 2025? I mean, this is ran, I think last week you talked about going long on it. There was 73% last week. It's all the way up to almost 90 now.
Yeah, I was buying it in the 60s because on X, they're running ads saying, are you ready for us to open up in the US? Sign up on this form and we'll let you know. And I'm like, if they're running ads on X, like it's not going to be like a year from now. But yeah, I mean, at 87% chance, I'm not sure, like, who knows, it could launch January 1st and you lose, right? So the risk reward isn't as good as when it was in the 60s.
Yeah, I don't think it's free money by any means or standards of at all. We had over $375 million worth of longs liquidated. Crypto total market cap's fallen from 4.1 trillion to 3.8 trillion. Easy, I didn't get a chance to catch your show this morning. I'm curious what you're looking at levels here. I think you were long overnight. You hit some of those longs for the Bodogos. What do you see in the majors right now? Like, what are the charts telling you?
I mean, it's just kind of flat. Like, I wouldn't be long or short here. We like almost Pico timed the bottom last night. We caught Sol and ETH. We caught ETH under 4,100, which was nice, and we caught Sol at 176. So I was happy about both of those. For like, I even said it's like this is a gamble. This is a high risk trade. Don't go too heavy on this. Just take a flyer. Yeah, but right now it's just kind of like I think we're just going to continue to trade flat. We have some macro data tomorrow with manufacturing that's coming out. After that, though, all eyes are on Friday. Everything's on Friday.
I'm under the impression that he's going to continue his tone with like, we're going to look at the data, we're going to wait and see, we're not cutting. If that comes true, like if that's what happens, like what happens?
Well, there's two things he's going to say. Either he's going to say that the PPI data was more than enough to prove that inflation is in a place where cuts don't make sense, or he's going to say that we're not only looking at one data point. If he says we're not only looking at one data point, then that signals, okay, so they're looking at more, which is job revision, CPI, and other things that have basically signaled we're due for a cut. If he says that PPI data is enough to not cut or infers it in any capacity, even infers that PPI data was enough to make them not want to wait for more data, then yeah, we're going to probably continue to sell off. The thing is, we basically front run a lot of this negative move. So like even Bitcoin down to 109K would not be the end of the world, which would put ETH at like 37, 38. But yeah, I lean just flat. Like I think you just wait. If he comes in hawkish, you can catch the back half of that downward move. If he comes in dovish, then you just go long and hold it.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. So we're looking next month. We're looking at FOMC meeting scheduled September 16th to 17th. So 17th would be when we get rate cut news. We're looking at October 15th September 11th is when CPI data comes out. So is 5 days enough time for the FOMC to look at CPI data from September and have that influence their decision on cuts?
100%.
5 days later. Okay.
100%. Dude, they don't need a week. Like, give them a couple days, and they'll give them a day. They know what the data is. Yeah, dude, there's so much fucking construction bullshit right now.
Yeah, when's the next CPI one coming out?
Next CPI is coming out. I have it right here. It's September 11th.
Gotcha. I could see that coming a little hot. Maybe spooks the market a little bit. Maybe that's the bottom.
Yeah. So CPI. I mean, PPI normally leads if it is sticky. If this really hot PPI print we had this month is sticky and ends up getting passed down to consumers, like it would show itself in CPI. There's also a scenario where CPI looks fine and everyone's like, oh shit, like all in.
Yeah. I mean, the job market is not good. It's actually completely fraudulent. So if they care about
we have more lost jobs right now than we had during the recession.
Yeah. Yeah. So if that is their dual mandate, then they're morons that they don't start cutting and getting the actual economy going. Like the only reason why things are growing is because of like a couple tech companies. Mostly everybody else is struggling. You can't just keep interest rates fucking low for 2 decades and then jack them up and just think like businesses can survive under this new normal. They need to cut the rates down, even if it makes inflation wiggle up a little bit.
September jobs data, September 5th is when we're looking for that. So a little earlier than CPI. So we could have,
the jobs data, they base a lot of the jobs data off of birth to death models. So it's not even fucking accurate. Yeah. It's off of birth death models.
Yep. So, I also heard some interesting stuff. Like we're entering an age where jobs like are going to like inherently decline with AI. And we're not like, there is no metric to take into account like digital workers, essentially agents,
like entrepreneurs.
Yeah. Like an entrepreneur is starting up a company right now. There's and they're vibe coding.
They're gonna have less people working for
them. You don't need a team of engineers anymore, even for like just prototypes. And I think that we do so much of the US job is in like the realm of like data, infrastructure, et cetera. Yeah. That you can easily see that number retrace because of AI's growth. So
I've heard that take a lot. Nick Carter talks about that.
Yep.
I actually, for the first time, heard the best contrarian take to that, which I thought was very interesting. And this guy essentially said that AI and robotics is going to accelerate the economy so much that it's going to create demand for jobs for humans. Meaning that, right, you can't just like even if you had robots doing a bunch of stuff, right? If they're accelerating the economy so much, you're going to need to hire humans for roles where like you just can't get another robot in quick enough. Like it's just growing too quick, right?
There's also like quality control stuff with that. You're still going to have users involved in which is like checking and cross-referencing stuff. I also think there's going to be new opportunities in the job market for opportunities we've never had before. Like it's the age of the internet. The thing is, if you don't know how to use the internet, you're fucked. If you do, you're going to be in a place in which you can succeed at an exponential rate. This fucking drill, dude, I'm going to crash out.
According to the Whoop CEO, everybody don't go to college anymore. You're going to just be clippers. I don't know what a clipper is exactly, but
they watch a stream, take a clip, post it on socials.
Yeah. So everyone's going to be clippers. You're just going to clip social media content, and you're going to post it. And that's how you're going to get paid every day. That's just
We've
how
got-
it's going to work.
We've got, every time I hear Clipper, we have this, this is going to be like so off topic. We have this like coupon book that like comes like locally or whatever. And on the radio, they have the little jingle. It gets in my head every time. It goes, Clipper Magazine, dee, 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 dee. Clipper Magazine, it's the first place you look. Clipper Magazine, it's the everything book.
So what Ray did is he just doxed that the average median age of people around him is about 60 in his town. Because all his old ladies love clipping, man. They go to the Food Lion and they got all their coupons.
Yep, 100%.
Especially now that food stamps are getting reduced as well. Really got a coupon clipping may explode, as well as video clipping.
Yeah, I saw that. I think I saw a clip from the Thread Guy WAP interview, and he was like, Uber drivers aren't clipping right now because they just don't know what clipping is. If Uber drivers knew what clipping is, they wouldn't be driving Ubers. I was like, I don't know. I don't know if that's the case, but
well, you can. The argument is like, for the younger generation, if you understand a rough idea of how social media works, you can post clips from these third-party accounts, and they pay you per 1,000 views. So it becomes a volume game where you just need one of those videos to go viral. And viral on social media, especially on the short form content, is much easier than you think, as these algorithms push it way harder. And these like creators are paying them to essentially get in front of more eyes. Like the biggest creators are all doing it, especially on this younger generation. TJR Trades, Brez Scales. You're seeing it even with like Ash Robin, Thread Guy. We have a Clipper as well. Shout out Levi. Just because it's a way for you to get more of your content in front of more people.
Do you pay the clippers to clip and post on your accounts or to post on their accounts?
They post on their own account and either tag
so it's like
you
a
or
form of
share.
social media advertising.
It's social media advertising. So you put up a bounty. So you say, I have 10 grand to pay out a month. And it goes to whoever gets the most views the fastest. So you're in like these people, yeah, they steal content. That's basically what it is.
No,
So
but they're
the
telling them to. They're telling them, just, hey, steal my content.
All eyes are good eyes.
Shit.
All eyes are good eyes. That's it.
Yes,
all eyes
I
are good
love
eyes.
this.
You see my face more and more and more and more. That's the big win. And the thing is,
People
you can post 1,000 clips.
easy.
They're smart, dude. They're
smart.
smart, man. But if the thing is, you only get paid for those clips if you hit a certain number of views. So like if you post 500 clips and none break 1,000 views, they don't get paid. So it's like, that's the difference. So you have to hit certain thresholds. And it's not a lot, dude. They give them like a couple dollars per 1,000 views. But if you do 1 million views, you'll get a few grand, right? Like that's a big deal.
Hear me out, easy. We sell botted view boosts to the clippers.
So that's the sad thing is WAP has a very good bot measurement tool to check if you're doing that. And if you are, it's an instant account.
Well
ban.
played.
Like
I like that whoop guy. Great hair.
account.
Strong CEO hair.
I mean, dude, it's one of the best like modern day businesses. They just bought Stripe out of their position in the company. So they basically pushed Stripe out.
Reverse investment. Oh, you invested in us? Fuck you. Here's your money. Leave.
Basically, like, yeah, we want more control of the business. One thing I will say though, WAP, whatever it is, I think it's WAP, get out of New York. They're based in New York, get out of New York.
Yeah, terrible spot to be. Absolutely.
Get out of New York.
One of the dumbest.
You guys are making too much money to be in New York. Get out of New York.
Yeah.
Get out of New York. I know it's great. I know. Yeah. Move to Sweden.
Oh man, Wolfie, why do you? There's a septic tank guy you love. Like a lot of questions here about this. Like going to bat for his septic tank content creator because his content's being
dude. So I don't have
this
TikTok.
guy's slurping shit up, man. Look how good he is at it.
So I don't have TikTok. So I watch like a lot of short form video on Twitter and YouTube because I'm just weird.
Yeah, me too.
I refuse to download TikTok because I'm just like, and I don't have Instagram. Because like our job is to literally live on Twitter. So I'm like, I don't need more social media exposure. So I watch these short form contents on those two. I have like 3 distinct niches of content that gets presented to me. Golf content constantly.
Yep.
Sneakers and like watches and stuff like that. Cause like that's past life, like streetwear, all that stuff. I enjoy that. And then it's like lawn mowing. Like I watch
really like with like really perfect
content.
Really perfect
lines, terrible yards before and after. and I watch that shit, dude, I'll just be sitting there for like all of a sudden an hour and a half passes. I'm like, damn, I just watched this guy change an entire fucking neighborhood.
Are you part
What
German?
the fuck did I just watch? Yeah.
That makes sense then. That checks out.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
But dude,
like, how
it's
everyone has their own niches of like stuff.
there's
that
like
gets served to
random
them.
subtle
Like,
things I watch. Dude, there's a car guy I watch. I watch every one of his videos. His name is George. He runs a car dealership out of New Jersey. I'm gonna crash out. I swear to God, I'm gonna crash the fuck out. Gonna crash the fuck out, boys.
Did you quit TikTok because they're showing you too much like tranny stuff?
I never had TikTok. I had a page myself, and I just stopped posting to it and stopped having people post to it. But I knew that I would get stuck in the doom scroll rabbit hole.
Yeah, it's dangerous. It's addicting. Gotta be careful about that.
This
stuff.
dude, yeah,
Brian
Wolfie knows
said-
it. Also, Alfalfa. You're talking about Vukum. Vukum is the watch flipper guy. I like him and Moses the jeweler. Those are the two guys I crush their shorts.
Brian's probably the only guy that knew what I meant by asking if you're German because he said play lawn mowing simulator because Germans love simulator
I've
games.
beaten the entire game. I've played trading card game simulator, power watch simulator, and lawnmower simulator. I've beaten all three of them. I haven't gotten through farm simulator because there's like too many moving parts and I get distracted. I'll end up just like growing corn for like 6 years and my farm never scales. But I love the simulator games. I love them, dude. They're like my Sims. I've logged probably 400 hours into Sims 3. Maybe Sims 4 now. But yeah.
if you're listening on YouTube or Twitter, give us some of your like oddly niche video like content that you get served and you just watch all the time, 100% every video. I'm really curious because we're seeing a lot of like funny stuff pop up. Knife restoration is another good one.
That's what I'm saying. Kashmir gets it, dude. The Diamond District in New York's where it happens, man.
Easy could be making passive income streaming that.
I don't play Clash of Clans. I'm not a big mobile gamer. I did just start seeing these clips for this game called Hurricane Outbreak Simulator, though, and I started playing that last night. That's a fun one. That's a fun one.
Oh, that's a good one. Got bounced. There's a Scottish guy remodeling his backyard using ChatGPT. I watched all 55 parts in one night. Yeah, restorations are cool. I like watching like there's like guys who do like contracting work. They say like what they bought like stuff for, like what they bought materials for, and like how long it took them to do jobs, and like how much money they made. And they're like, yeah, I just saw this random house on the street. I knocked on their door and I made like $3,500 by replacing a few deck boards or something like that. Like all this like random like contractor content I enjoy. Sea Dog, what's your brain rot content of choice?
Dude, I don't have time to be talking.
Clemente watches pimple popping videos. He loves them, dude.
No, I like
what a
the
girl.
He watches those and get ready with these.
I enjoy those. My wife hates them. They're no longer on my feed because every time I show them my wife, she freaks out and like somehow they just got off my feed. Maybe she stole my phone at one point and like I didn't see them. But
get ready with me as I go.
So Jerome
to
Powell is
today.
actually going to Jackson Hole on Friday, and well, it's actually pretty crazy because I think the macroeconomic structure of the entire global infrastructure world and Bitcoin's price action is really, really delectable here. So this new moisturizer and my favorite drink, Rector. So if you aren't drinking Rector, you're.
Oh my god, dude! Easy, you just blew my nuts off with that one, dude.
Dude, or they do that one, and then they have the or when they sit in the car and they're telling a story, and they're like they're like.
So last week, my boss actually slept with my friend Carrie, and it was terrible because his wife found out. And let me tell you, what a shitty situation. So I just ordered this double Big Whopper from Big Mac, and watch me eat it while I tell you the rest of this story.
Man, I needed this.
We're
guy.
so fucked, dude.
I was feeling.
Society's so fucked.
Oh, somebody said the finger clapping though.
I was feeling pretty bummed out this morning, guys. You know,
About
I
what?
needed a little pick me up.
Why?
Losing money?
Dude, no, I'm like, I'm starting to look into more of these crypto treasury companies, and I'm like, dude, are we fucked?
It's bad, dude. Oh, it's bad, dude. If the price drops like 30 more %, they all go underwater.
Dude, no, there's some that are already okay. Watch this video and tell me if this is a top signal. Ready? Tell me if it's time to sell. Like, and I'm being 100% honest right now. Please just be honest with me. This is Empire Digital Bitcoin at a 24% discount? Question mark.
If you're a believer,
This guy's going through it, dude.
really-
Look at it. This motherfucker hasn't slept in weeks.
It looks like
This is the
AI.
CEO of the company.
Yeah, it looks like AI. Does not look like a real human.
Bitcoin spot is roughly 115,000. our shares of Embry Digital are being offered at effectively $89,000 per BTC. As of this morning, the 19th of August, you can buy into a portfolio holding 4,056 Bitcoin, representing a more than 20% discount to the value of those holdings. Some impatient hedge funds are exiting, driving down the share price, creating an opportunity to effectively buy BTC at a significant discount to spot price. So what are we doing? We are buying back as many shares as we are permitted to under our corporate repurchase.
Does this make you want to buy Bitcoin right now?
I don't think I care about this video one bit, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that the crypto treasury stuff never made sense to me, because this guy, you buy his stock, then they could fucking dilute the shares. Like it's like Bitcoin's whole thing is that no one can dilute your shit, right? No one can print more Bitcoin out of thin air.
Exactly.
And then a bunch of companies that print shares out of thin air bought Bitcoin and wrapped their printing machine around it.
So
that's why I haven't touched crypto treasury companies, because none of them make fucking sense to me. They've never made sense to me. Now, will they cause a blow up? Like if MicroStrategy blew up, that would fuck some shit up. But like these little dingleberries, I don't really care about.
They own 4,000 Bitcoin, half a billion. Their number, they are number 21. This stock, by the way,
the fact that there's 100, man, as well.
This stock is down 92% in the last year. I looked it up. They rebranded from something. They brought on a new CEO. The CEO raised $500 million for a Bitcoin treasury company. And the new CEO is the guy that led that round. So he came in.
That guy probably has like a big gambling or drug debt that he has to pay off. That's the only reason I would imagine that he would take that role.
Speaking of the treasury companies, guys over at Modern Market, they showed this dashboard. I thought this was pretty interesting. It's a Blockworks dashboard on all the treasury companies showing like trading volume of their shares and then like kind of listing them all on the table with their their values and everything. It looks like we like hit Pico top August 11th in terms of trading volume on these. It's been pretty much down since then. We have seen less buying. Like we talked about it early in the show with MicroStrategy, essentially like really scaling back the buying that's happening outside of their preferred offerings. They had the IPO for STRC where they basically bought $2 billion worth of Bitcoin. Outside of that, it's been like very minimal in terms of historical buys. But this is a chart I'm going to be looking at because it's going to show you how much.
If this is the reason why Ethereum fucking quadrupled top this cycle, I'm going to fucking snap. I'm going to snap. There's no way that it does. This would be the fourth, right? Of this cycle. It hit 4K. Four times.
That's one more than three, one less than five.
So I'd like to look at the Bitcoin. What happens when the MNAV goes below? What is so? Can you get? This is what I need.
Clemente, you're saying the quiet part out loud, dude. Like this is the thing that like they pay us not to acknowledge.
So, but when the MNAV goes below, they just buy back their own shares. But where does
they use one of the 6 other like Stripe, Strike, Stiff, Smelly, like those other tickers they have.
I actually think
dump more
MicroStrategy understands this better than anyone else. They've been doing it for
the crypto
5 years. Yeah, so I actually don't think strategy is going to go solvent or any of that. I think I'm more worried about these other treasury companies that were spun up in the last
my favorite one is that random guy from Canada who has a hype treasury. That's my favorite one.
Somebody linked us that somebody said it. I can't remember who. Here it is. It's there's a couple of these hype treasuries. Hype D was the one that is in Canada, I believe, listed here. Token holdings.
Pretty good MNAV. Dude, SBET at a 1.01 MNAV is just savage, dude. Nick got wrecked on that shit, huh?
They've been buying. I mean, how much of the Bitcoin or the ETH treasury the ETH supply do they hold? 2% now.
Let me.
I kind of want ETH to drop another 10% just to see these guys go in the negative.
The thing, this is a hot take. I think one of these 3 companies is just not here in a year from today, or
one of those 3 of
one
the
of these
treasury companies.
Yeah, one of the 3 top ETH treasury companies just doesn't doesn't exist or like fucked up.
Which one looks worse? Okay. GBTC traded.
What's that fourth one? Ethereum Foundation? That one looks bad, dude.
Do you remember when that was like the biggest issue of like ETH dumping? They hold less than 0.2% of ETH now. Tom Lee owns over 6 times as much ETH as the Ethereum Foundation. We are dumping right now as I
Guys, okay, guys, we need to stop.
Easy
being
said
bearish.
not to talk about it. Easy
Yeah,
said.
Good call.
It's your
Easy.
fault, fucking Clemente, dude.
I
don't know what's
understand.
dumping. My light exposure's continuing to grind up. It's great.
Oh, here we go again. Here we go again. Dude, Tom Lee posting his emails was also crazy.
So funny. So he pays for that service, by the way. You could just pay for that newsletter guy.
And he just posted that. I mean, dude, what is? I feel like I'm losing it because
Bitcoin's the only one that's dumping because MicroStrategy can't buy anymore.
Yeah, it was the whole reason we pumped to begin with was because of these ETFs 2 years ago, right? The Bitcoin ETF, BlackRock. We haven't. We're just at the mercy of the institutions. I don't know where this money comes from to buy. Why do people pay or fund this $500 million like Bitcoin Treasury company?
It's got to be
would
money
someone want to
laundering.
invest in that? Do they
It's got to be
get
money laundering.
shares at a discount? Are these shares locked for a while?
They get
This is-
debt, probably. They get
How
debt
mu-
that probably can claim the Bitcoin if the company collapses.
Got it. So this is a way for maybe those people to get Bitcoin exposure at a discount, potentially.
They're getting Bitcoin exposure, but they can sell it to pension funds that want bonds.
Okay, penny stock money says because they can't buy it themselves. That's interesting, right? So if you're a company that manages a bunch of money and you can't buy Bitcoin potentially, you have to invest it in the public markets. This is an interesting way to do it. I don't know enough about it to really have a strong case against it. It's just my gut. I don't want to make. I really want to learn more about this, but right now I'm just like, dude, I'm a perma bull, but this is kind of tough.
But that would have been like the weakest top of all time, right?
That'd be terrible.
That
just
was
like
like
teasing the all-time high and then
But
just dropped
nothing happened.
Clemente's
Moonbirds pumped.
Clemente's foot healed.
But what I'm trying to say
Yeah.
is like, think about any other top in the craziness of it. And basically, we're going to say, yeah, this time the market topped and Moonbirds pumped 5x. That was the sign. Nothing else pumped. What else pumped? Zora barely did a 2x.
We had
there's
meme
nothing
coins.
Crazy.
Remember the meme coin run we had last year, Kicks?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what a proper top looks like.
I mean, this was the top that you were looking for right here.
I mean, that was that's that,
I think
that's
you do that
a little
again.
bit.
I think you go long into all-time highs. I think that is a fine play.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you poisoned his mind, Ray, when you were fucking talking about that with Farcoin, dude. Like Ray's like, I long breakouts. And Nick's like, oh yeah, let me 500K leverage long of a Bitcoin breakout. Who
The thing is, you enter price discovery, you have the upside there. Like I think longing all-time highs isn't like a necessarily terrible play.
You're playing against TradFi now, dude. Okay, you're not playing fucking pickleball at the local courts. Okay, you're on national television now.
Yep, that's fair. That is fair. Yeah, I mean this would be brutal. This is cycle top, but I mean, let's zoom out. Like
Zoom
look
out
where
more.
we are. Look where we are. We're all the way up here. Sky's not falling. Could just be a buying opportunity. We could look back at this in a week and say like this is just dips are for buying.
And I'll tell you, man, that was a hell of a pump, though. It felt awesome while it was pumping.
Oh, what a cutie.
Little treat for the viewers here. We got Easy's dog making an appearance.
So, okay. Fascinating. So you guys still think ETH is a really good buy just based off of the institutions that are buying it?
I don't think
I
anyone's
never
saying
said
it's a really good buy.
Have you heard of this token Light from the Heavendex Launchpad? It's sitting at 116 mil market cap, approaching all-time highs while the wider market sells off.
Wait, wasn't it 130 yesterday?
Yeah, but I said it's approaching all-time highs. It's back at 120 right now.
Right,
You guys
can you
want to know
circle
what
on
else?
the chart $1,600 for ETH?
Yep, that would be down here.
So right there was a good buy, Clemente.
Yeah, no, I know.
This is where you can say, hey, I really like ETH. This is where you said I hate ETH more than anything. Think you're just
I've never, while I was thinking about it in hindsight, I never would have been able to hold with the amount of with proper size to make any money on ETH. I just don't have the conviction in it.
You're not going to make every trade. Doesn't matter.
Not with ETH. Okay. So hold on here. So the other thing I've been thinking about is, dude, I have like 60% of my portfolio in Bitcoin, which is so boring. It sucks. Cause I'm just like, I'm never
so boring, dude.
Cause I'm like, I'm not gonna sell
boring.
that. So I don't even get excited about it pumping because I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna sell it.
So boring, dude.
But then
it's
I'm
like,
also
whoa, 2% move. Wee, haha, how fun. You're better off buying treasury bonds, dude.
Don't worry, Clemente. You'll be like maybe a little bit rich 10 years from now.
Dude, I'm like bummed out right now, man.
Or you could full port that Bitcoin into the token that I've been discussing called Light from Heavendex, which could be primed for a 3x and 3x your Bitcoin exposure.
I think this is the time to not start over trading, though. Actually,
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty boring right
agree.
now. Yeah,
it is.
It's extremely boring. But if you had to pick right now between altcoins or Bitcoin, if you had to deploy capital into something, you should be buying altcoins. Like everything from the rate cut cycles in the past have set up for altcoins to rally harder than Bitcoin here.
So easy.
And if you lose, dude, just get another job or start doing drugs until you forget.
So your stance is, in all seriousness, easy. This is just a little blip. It's macro that's causing this, the dip in crypto.
It is Friday, Jerome Powell, Jackson Hole. Get ready with me.
Dude, everything's riding on Jackson Hole. What could he possibly say at Jackson Hole?
If he comes in and says no cut September, we're going to sell off hard. Like harder than we already have.
I don't really care. I think it's all going to be fine.
Look, I'm a big fan of Bitcoin. I'm a big fan of crypto in general. Dude, I just get bummed out when I see this, the TradFi stuff. People start licking their chops and doing this bullshit. The treasury.
It's kind of like SPACs from 2021, right? It's not like that ruined the stock market, right? You're always going to have people doing funky shit.
Easy. You say we're going to sell off potentially after these rate cuts, or the rate cuts coming means the end of the cycle is potentially coming sooner. Wouldn't that mean then that you would want these guys to push rate cut? If I'm Trump, wouldn't I just want these rate cuts to be pushed off for as long as possible?
Because what happens is when rate cuts happen, you typically chop and then rally following, because you have to wait for rate cuts to bottom. So a 0% market, or in this case, if we get 3 cuts, we're looking at about a 3 to 3.5% market. The closest comparison is 2019 pre-COVID, where we had 3 cuts. We also had 3 cuts in 2024, which many people still overview. And both of those did not have the quantitative easing, which I don't think we're going to get as aggressively as we got during COVID. And even I think that before that was like the 1982 recession. Like, dude, my ass wasn't fucking alive. But still, data you want to look at, 2019, 2024, 3 cuts both times. We chopped, went down between 10 and 15%, and then rallied extremely hard following. So what that would set us up for is basically a move here into Q4, start of Q2 next year. Cuts stop. Economy may slowly be grinding into a better place, but next year is when we probably end up seeing more of a longer term chop for, call it a year, 26 to 27, where it's going to be interesting because these treasury companies will actually benefit the most from rate cuts because they can borrow money at a lower cost, which would allow them to take it and borrow against it. So without that, though, as you have uncertainty until we get clarity on, are there more cuts? Are there no cuts? What's the play here? Yeah, that looks very accurate. I think we get a black swan event. Capo is right, late 26. But until you get clarity, markets do not like uncertainty. And that's what we have right now. There's no certainty on this September rate cut anymore. We went from a 99% chance down to an 80% chance. A 19% move 3 weeks before the cut is not a good thing. So Ronman said it's a soft landing, not a rate cut because of a major catalyst. We had soft landing in 2019 and 2024. So it's the exact same setup theoretically.
I tell you what, man, I don't think of Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin will dump a little bit more.
I'm gonna blow my brains out over the next 2 days. All we're talking about is Jackson Hole and Jerome Powell. To be honest, something
I'll
needs
show
to
you my
happen.
Jackson Hole.
Something needs to happen the next 2 days. I
right,
need something else to happen.
Why don't we just leverage short Bitcoin down to 95K and then long it from there?
Why don't we just go against all recommendations and start gambling on online crypto casinos? Speaking of, go to Yeet. Use code BODOGGOS.
Check out our handy, amazing overlay here. Bodoggos.com/eat. We're gonna be doing a giveaway on Easy Show later this week. Nice work, Clicks.
All right.
Perfect.
Well, you guys didn't really make me feel that much better. I'm going to be honest.
Clemente,
Did it get ready with me again?
Clemente, what are
Ray-
you gonna do? Did you
Ray, do the Ray, do the gorilla.
Do the
Can you
gorilla
make me-
nose.
Do the gorilla. That's gonna make me
Sick.
feel
It's
better.
not gonna be right. By the dip. Thank you all for listening today. It's been a wonderful show. You can catch us Monday through Friday,
That was awesome.
9 a.m. Eastern time. Watch us on Spotify. Listen to us on Spotify. Listen to us on Apple Podcasts. Watch us on YouTube. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you again.